Do you hear me now? Okay. I was wondering why I was getting no response. Good morning, Mewjuice. Good morning, Fantasy. I hope you guys are well today. I will just repeat what I said at the start. Shab! Good morning. Thank you for coming by. Morning or evening, depending on how you see it. I have been awake all night. Thanks for coming by. How you doing? I have been booped. Naff is here. Naff. He boops the snoot. It's the snoot that gets booped. The boop snoot. Like the drip snoot. Time zone appropriate greetings. Yes, well, I have been awake all night. My throat is sore, so it might be a short stream today. And I still have to clean my bathroom before roommate's parents arrive sometime this afternoon/evening. And somewhere between all of that, I still have to take out the recycle, polish the stove, and polish all of the stainless steel appliances, because the type A mother will be like, this is so dirty, and I have to wash the kitchen floor. The first half of that sounds good, Neff, but not the second. I'm not a big fan of echinacea. But Ricola! I do have some honey lemon Ricola. Maybe I'll consider that. But yeah, my throat is actually pretty sore. As I was saying before my microphone was found to not be working, I think the frozen ground is giving up its mold. So, and I've just got a mug of hot chocolate pressed against my face because it's cozy. I have to admit, I don't think I've had the green tea Ricola before. I don't think I've ever seen it before. It must be relatively new. I don't often buy stuff like that unless I'm really sick, and that almost never happens, which is kind of weird. But yes, I was awake all night because I could not sleep, and so instead I was listening to the Dresden Files Book 2 and sculpting a half-naked chicken crow. I baked the tea pet, the fox tea pet, yesterday. And by yesterday, I mean last night. Hello, Mathis. Mathis. He's just sitting there watching me out. Hello, eyeball. Okay. Oh God. Trying to make a dice bag again. Well, let's bring up the fox tea pet that I made. I gotta go here. Copy this image and we'll just paste it in. Oh God. Practice file is a lot smaller. Anyways, this is our little tea pet buddy. Hold on. Oh God. Everything on my window is moving the wrong way. There we go. I did a big Windows update, and it's just like messed everything up, which is probably why my microphone was disconnected. Anyways, that's our little teapot fox friend. I have learned that you can indeed just put liquid Sculpey in a detailed mold and just bake it like that. And the problem is they sell liquid Sculpey in really tiny bottles. Working as intended, yeah, right? The updates. Oh, hold on, you can't even see his nose. I'll put him there. I was thinking of just doing a color practice today because part of what I did over the course of the night was also save 48 different PNG files for a certain necromancer who is in 2.5 hours of meetings presently. So, Necromancer will not be joining us today, unfortunately. But yes, I am also sculpting a crow of equivalent size. It's going alright. This is the first animal I have sculpted in about 30 years. Maybe more. I'm really trying to think. I tried sculpting a dragon in high school out of like regular clay and it just didn't go well. Well, if you come to Conquest, he's a tea pet, so we'll be pouring tea over him at the tea shop. So yeah, last thing I sculpted technically was a dragon, but it never got finished, and like I barely even got into detail phase because my art teacher didn't tell me that I needed to put an armature into the clay. Not that I could put an armature into that clay because it had to go into a kiln, so the teacher was very unhelpful. Sculpey, on the other hand, you just put it in the oven, so you can put whatever kind of armature you want in it. But I found out that liquid Sculpey, you can just pour into a mold and bake it, which is kind of nice. What, you think my dragon that had no details at all was better? I have to disagree. I'm sad that I never got into the ceramics class. I had always wanted to do that, but we now have superior materials. Those who can't teach. No, I don't know. I don't know the old adage, in fact. That is one I am not aware of. Oh, the wings? Yeah, the wings just kinda... They existed, so there were wings on the dragon, and I think there were teeth. And that's about it. But the base that I was making was pretty cool, and I kind of want to try making it again, but with Sculpey. Or perhaps get myself a big vat of cosclay and follow C-Knot Bush's dragon sculpting tutorial. Because that's one of the tutorial classes that he offers. I'm just about to spill my hot chocky everywhere. You want to find a wolf tea pet? I mean, I'm sure they exist. They have tea pets that are like lychee fruits, and you pour hot water over them, they change color. They have all kinds of things. Those who cannot do teach is a shortened version of George Bernard Shaw line. He who can does, he who cannot teaches. From this play, Man and Superman, and is often used to suggest that teachers are those who failed at the profession they teach. I mean, in our present education system in both Canada and America, yeah. Yeah. And that definitely sounds like something that Shaw would have written. Being a literature student, I have read some of Shaw's work. And everyone's like, oh, you want to go be a teacher? Because I was studying English. And I'm like, no, I want to be a writer. Fuck teaching people things. I hate that. I hate being a teacher. Here I am doing art in front of everybody, and people ask me questions and ask me to teach them how to do things, and I'm like, I don't know. I just put color things, lines, hues, stuff. How to draw an owl. Draw 2 circles. Draw the rest of the fucking owl. Suddenly energy came to me right there. There was a certain vehemence. I always hated it when people were like, oh, you're studying English, so you want to become a teacher. And I'm like, why do you make this association? I love history and sharing. A lot of people tell me I should become a teacher. I followed your laughter there. As if I have the patience for anyone who doesn't want to learn. Yes. Yes. I have a certain disdain for people who don't want to learn. I was on a roleplay site a while back, and there was somebody on the site, and I kept using this word. It was either disturbed or distressed. I think it was distressed. And they're like, what does that mean? And I'm like, you're talking to me on the internet. You have Google. You can just look it up. And they said, I don't want to. That's too much like learning. And I very rarely interacted with them again after that. I went out of my way to avoid that person. I was just like, I am done with you. So glad to see VC on the timer. It was so fun. Yeah, it was nice to be on VC again. I tend to get overwhelmed, so I avoid VC a lot. I was surprised to see everybody in Skill Tree this week. Normally you guys are on the regulars. But it was nice to have other people who are not in the regular server in the chat too. I mean, the Saturday hangout is for the people of Skill Tree. Hi, Mathis. He's got his paws on my thigh. He's here. He wants food. He needs his breakfast. I don't know if you heard his meow. But he gets fed in about 15 minutes. Yeah, is that right, Moomers? Are you hungry? Yeah, I think he's hungry. I'm hungry too. I ate some leftover pizza, which ironically gave me a headache. Oh wait, it's medicine time. Yes. There's still 7 in here. Take your medicine if you need to. Don't forget. Everybody take your magic maracas. So, I went through that huge sound pack that I got, that I was talking about last week. I had a history in high school. A history teacher in high school was so focused on everyone learning that not only did his classes have the highest GDP, his classes also got so far in the curriculum that his bosses told him to pause while the other classes caught up. Lol. I had a history teacher in high school who just loved history, and that was my highest grade in high school. It was like a 92, and the only reason I didn't get the highest grade, which was over 96, is because my grandmother had a stroke and we had to go for a week, so I missed a project. That was the only reason I didn't get the medal for history that year at my high school. That's pretty great. Yeah, my high school teacher would like dress up as like a Viking clown for Halloween. He was pretty great. I miss him. He was an awesome teacher. It was funny because it was my most hated subject. I hated history because it was all just dates and repetition, but like he made us like do like military formations for like certain battles, and like I got to be like part of the German army at one point. It was kind of fun. So he made history fun, and he's like, yeah, it's an open book test. You can either choose your textbook or choose your notebook. And everybody who chose their textbook always did poorly. So I was like, I'm gonna keep the best frickin' notes, And I got such high grades in that class because of that. Because I made sure I went home and I made notes, and I made notes during class, and I remade my notes at home. Because open book test, I was like, well, yeah, I'll take the free learning. And then in the end, his little scheme worked out because I didn't even need my notes. Smart teacher. As I was saying, the big sound pack I got last week that I mentioned, it has like 3 sounds in it that I can use. But if I need sounds and music for anything else, then I have the options. So, you know, I can use it for other things later. Good morning, Seraphina. Good evening. A good time zone. My teacher would always say, note this before telling you what will be on the test or underline it on the board. Honestly, your teacher sounds exactly like my teacher, and if we didn't go to different high schools, I would have been like, we must have had the same teacher. Yeah, it's 9 o'clock in the morning here, Seraphina. 9:16. And what you see on screen is the T-Pet Fox that I crafted for the Conquest tea shop that I am going to be running with Ren. I baked him last night. So he's a good baked bean boy. And that being said, I should probably get on to at least some form of art. At least for you guys, so you're not just staring at this the whole time. What we're doing is we're doing a color study. So we're replicating this picture over here, but I can't go and like grab a color. I have to go take the color from the color wheel, and then I gotta paint it on. Like that. Clay Fox's art, yes, but it would be nice to actually do some art with you guys. So, like, if I want to... This is how I learned that, like, my darks are not dark enough and my lights are not light enough. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to select a color from the color wheel that looks relatively similar to that, and then I've got to paint this whole thing here. So, like, if I wanted a color that's in the salt lamp, I'll have to go grab something in the sort of peachy red orangey range. This usually takes me a little while to get it first, and then, like, I'll want to, like, sketch out the salt lamp. And that's already wrong. This exercise is actually surprisingly difficult. So we've got, like, the light in here. You can see, like, already I'm struggling to pick the colors. Let's see. I missed that class. I left anthropology and went into his ancient studies class. He gave me a project to make a diagram of an important moment in history, but I was already a week behind. My dad made wire trees for his model trains, so I made a split wire tree out of wire and a little resin fire. Tilted my diorama. Man discovers fire. Teacher said it was his favorite he'd ever seen. Most people pick something big and complex. I love it. Yeah, my teacher would have loved that. His name was Mr. Brown. He was pretty awesome. If I have a color that I've already put on the canvas, I am allowed to select that color. Yes, Mathis, I know you hunger. You seek food. Can't pick from there. Can't pick from there. I have a bad habit of just like wanting to go select the color from the picture. We'll blend this all out later. But it's a surprisingly important foundational exercise, this one. That I had never done before, but I've never had any actual like formal art training. And if you saw my egg paintings that I posted to my Blue Sky, then you'll know how these end up turning out, which is usually pretty good. Oop. Actually, that's not a bad idea. We'll blend this in. And that gives us a bit of that orange hue around. And I'm going to take the whole canvas and shift it over because I don't have this quite placed right. Trying to make sure everything's on screen. It's too small. There we go, that's a bit better. But yes, it's a surprisingly difficult exercise. And if you are interested in doing art and improving art, I recommend this exercise highly. You just find a simple still life and you copy it without actually selecting the colors from over here. So I can't go and select this. I have to go over into the color wheel and select it manually. But if you've already laid it onto your canvas, you're allowed to go back and select it, which is where the color blending comes in. Always had issues with art teachers. I've never seen anyone so constricting of creative flow, and then people teaching art. Yes. Usually art teachers are just people who failed to be artists, which is a little bit sad, really. Meow, I know, Mathis. I know you're hungry. Meow. He's pawing at my arm. But yeah, what I'll do is I'll just jump around the painting until I get most of the color down. Yes, Mathis, you're putting holes in my shirt. Thank you. I need extra airflow. Appreciate it. But the goal is to get it as close as possible. Let's see, we've got a big shadow right here. That's not nearly dark enough. Look at that. And it's still too yellow. But like you see already how much has taken shape. If you saw these two paintings really far apart, you'd be like, yeah, one's a copy of the other. I say paintings, but I mean one's a painting, the other's a picture. And like you can see, I'm still not dark enough with that shadow under the table. Like, that's getting closer. Yes, Mathis, I know. I actually really, really enjoy this exercise because of its challenge. Poor Mathis. He thinks he's starving to death. Can you hear him? I hope you can hear him. Little plaintive meows. Ah! Stop! Even still, not dark enough. See. My high school teacher totally killed my strive for drawing or painting. I wasn't allowed to use my HB2 mechanical pencil like I preferred to use. Instead, they demanded students go to art supply store buy charcoal pencils with $70 for a case of 5. Yeah! I have made my wood too warm. Not sure which way I should go to make it cooler. I think I have to go more in the red tones. Ah! That's better. Again, this is like, if you want to study light and color, this is the best way to do it. I'm gonna take this brown tone though, and I'm gonna put in that base for the light. And then we want to get this sort of lightish gray color, so I'm just gonna pull that from the painting. Hand sewing tiny stitches is such a pain. Yep. This is my favorite part once I start getting into the lower details. And I'll just sort of hop around the whole picture while I do this. I have no particular order that I do anything in. Let's see, there's like a big slice across this here. Like a really dark spot. little dark spots here. Sorry if I fall into the quiet concentration. This area up here is quite dark, actually. I was listening to something the other day. I think it was a live stream where a guy was talking about how an artist friend of his worked at Blizzard, and every day they would, the everyday thing is a different video. Every once in a while they would go through and they would do a painting using only the hard round brush. And eventually I would like to try that. I much prefer to use the round mixing brush that's just default to Clip Studio Paint. This is pretty cool down here. I have to go into the blues, I think. Where's the purples, actually? Too purple? Too much purple? Yeah, because the light in the rest of the room is pretty cool, so like up in the corner here it's still relatively cool. As you get closer to the lamp, you start to get that sort of peachy glow. I've still made the walls too light in the background. It really makes you look at light and color differently. You start to just sort of see the world slightly differently too. Still not quite right there. I hope this isn't boring for you guys. I just wanted something different than doing chibis and the thank you card today. It's just something, a little variety. There's the color that I wanted. Ooh, the wind coming in suddenly got cold. The cat yearns for a feast. Yet the harvest is unripe. Yes. Mathis, are you going to destroy the other corner of my bed now? Don't you dare scratch my sheets. Wait! Shh. You're not Mathis. You're River. Hold on a sec. Rivy! He's like, oh no! I've been noticed. I suppose I should feed the cats because it's 9:36. I will be right back. Oh, they're so excited, guys. There you are, Nugget. Whoa, come on. Come on. Come on. There, the ravenous bug bladder beasts have received food. And now to check to make sure my avatar isn't futzing about. Awesome. Hi. I return. Still don't have the background color quite right. Too much green. I need to still move towards the reds. Let's see. Let's bring in that purple on this side of the painting. Oh, look at that. The color almost matches up with the other side. Aw, yeah. That's what I like to see. Starvation quelled and thirst quenched. The feline apocalypse is staved once more. You have a way with words, Shab. Am I saying your name right, by the way? It's Shab, yeah? Not Shab. Yay! Let's see. I get some of that reflection in there. That's too bright. Had the table at the wrong angle. I feel that's better, right? Yeah. Ah! Death be to you, bad! Evil bat. Do not like. Inky face. Welcome back, Neff. The art is happening well. Much better. Much better art. The table makes this very hard for some reason. So, did you all have good weekends? I had a pretty good weekend. Just played Tales of the Valiant game last night for KoboCon. Was it fun? Is that the next Tales game? Tales of the Valiant? Nice. Fronds are good. Getting into the finer detail bits now. The fun parts, little fiddly bits in the fjords. This is the part where the painting starts to get really fun. I'm actually really excited to paint the salt lamp. I'm doing the boring parts first. Let's see, that little thing right about here. Tiny little bottle with tiny little incense sticks in it. We'll add the sticks later because we're still working on the back part of the table here. This has made me consider giving more focused art a try to see what comes of it. I only ever do small time doodles when there's a proper unused space in front of me. When there's a paper with unused space in front of me. Yes. Well, the reason I started doing this is because I was doing a commission painting for one of the other viewers, Necromancer, who you have not yet met. And I was struggling with some of the lights and shadows, so I decided to do like an actual painting study. To help me with my light and shadows, and that's when I discovered that I'm painting my lights and darks with too little contrast. I was trying to make this part stand out a bit more, but it really doesn't actually stand out that much. It just kind of blends a little bit. There's a little bit of light back here. There's a little bit in the back. But for the most part, it's actually pretty dark right around here. You learn so much while doing one of these studies, too. Like how light bounces off of certain objects. You know, you would expect the salt lamp, you'd expect there would be like a strong rim light down here, but there actually really isn't. As a matter of fact, my orangey red down here is still not dark enough. You learn so much by doing this. There's a lighter blotch right in here, kind of surrounded by dark, where the crystal goes between thin and thick. Different particle levels in the crystal. And while this is a pink Himalayan salt lamp, I'm actually drawing primarily in like an orangey red. And I still have to consider all of the gray that's in there from whatever stone material is also mixed in with it. This doesn't have enough saturation. Saving up for the chaos. I didn't get a chance to do any 3D modeling over the weekend, unfortunately. It's still gonna be a while for points redeems. Oh, there they are. Oh god, you guys. Well, I'm hydrating with hot chocolate, so you're just gonna have to deal with it. One-hour hydrate and stretch break. 1 hour! Okay, I had the hydrates. Now we stretch. Oh, so good. Yeah. First hour. Okay. I have to be very careful with my shoulder. There we go. Hope you've all stretched. Another good tip when you're doing artwork is you can zoom out really far. And if you can read one as the other, you're doing a good job. It also gives you an opportunity to see where things might need some work. Like, the table is not dark enough. My table is still not dark enough. I'm trying to keep it zoomed in enough that I can work, but also zoomed out enough that, that you can see. So, like, my table is not nearly dark enough, and it's still too warm. And that's wrong. There we go. I think I need to pull some of this color in. Especially like right back here. It's definitely the shadow from the lamp. Even though the lamp itself is casting light, it's still producing quite a strong shadow. Like this whole corner of the table is still... And that's where my, my darks aren't dark enough thing comes in. Oh my god, noise. Engines. See, there's like a little reflected light in the corner. Right here. Off of something. It's actually more gray than the brown that I chose. There's all these little things that you start to see and learn. And it's very exciting for me. So like there's a little hint of this color on the little corner of the table. Still got that cool... There's too much saturation is the problem I'm having. Wow. There we go. And yes, my little bottle is going to completely disappear. As I paint over it again. That car was so loud, yeah. The shadow makes my gamer sense think the lamp is Mimic. I mean, even candles, candle flames cast shadows. One of the things we're getting is a lot of the wall is reflecting its gray light onto the table, especially where like the varnish is kind of thin. I'll just repaint that little bottle later. You see how just like small changes everything? You wanna, if you wanna make a donation, you have to go to Throne, and you have to have a Throne account. I recommend everybody have a Throne account. It's a great way to know what kinds of things people are looking for. I've permitted the term hoe in my chat. So, underneath the video player there should be, like a link. Like, don't feel like you have to donate. Where is it? Yeah, so if you go into, like, the About section on my Twitch, there should be Throne in the first panel. Misspelled a word again. Dyslexia is hard, yeah. And also, you know, English isn't your first language. Like, that's turning out real good so far, I think. The table's a little bit wonky, but that's alright. Perspective is hard. If you make a Throne wish list, I recommend setting everything to payout. This way you'll get the money and can find a better deal or use Prime. Throne does not offer Prime benefits regardless. There are actually some cases where Prime... people with Prime get higher prices. It's already been found that the price gets jacked up for people with Prime. Like, it's not all the time, but it's pretty frequent. I don't have Prime, so... Rumi has Prime, but I don't. I'm going to pause, and I mean mute my mic, and go release the cats, because they have finished eating. I shall return. And I turn. Hi. And you guys don't have to worry about donating. It's just there if you have like $5 or whatever. So it's not really that important. It's just there. I wanted to put up Treat Stream so that like people go buy food, but like I stream so early in the morning that none of the places I would order from are even open. So I'm like, well, I wasted my time setting all that up. And it's just throne.com/Sayaka. That's just my username. Same name everywhere, except on DeviantArt where I am Xanthias. But I also own the Sayaka DeviantArt account. I just always use my Xanthias one. Because I've always used that one. But I own the other one. Gotta keep my username safe, yo. That's the only reason that my my Twitter still exists, is because I don't want some scammer like picking up my username and trying to like thieve people, because I hate scammers. And also Throne.com does a lot of giveaways on Twitter and Blue Sky. I think they also do it on Instagram and TikTok too, so if you follow them there, they often do giveaways. And if you have a Throne account and you show up to their Twitch streams, where they usually play Marvel Rivals, Throny does. He's one of the community ambassador dudes. He often plays Marvel Rivals a lot, actually. He has like 3 accounts, and he also plays on his friends' accounts. The guy likes that game a little too much. too high energy for me. I would suck so hard at that game. Sorry, I try not to sing, but sometimes when I yawn, the notes come out. It's the only time I sing. Also when people can't hear me, generally. I did find one sound in my sound pack that I want to use for when, like, people subscribe. I will be changing the subscribe noise. Or it might be the raid noise. Should anyone ever raid me in the future. But it's like some ship creaking and like that ship bell goes ding ding. It's like the start of like an ambience. The pack that I had a lot of ambience noises, some of which are more ocean waves. There's like rainy caves or like drippy caves, and there's some thunderstorms. So if I ever manage to animate my background and we can have like a just chatting thing with a 3D model with better lighting, hopefully like attuned to the lanterns and make them sway in the storm. I kind of like stormy, like bamboo forest, misty mountain vibes. So, yeah. Eventually I'd like to do that. Where we can have some more ambience, maybe people can change the weather if they want, the time of day. I think that'd be pretty fun. Sai has that on her stream, where she has like this room, and when she's just hanging out, and you can change the weather with some commands in chat. I like to set it to the thunderstorm, obviously, because that's what I listen to when I sleep at night. So if you've got me on Discord and you see me playing Spirit City Lo-Fi Sessions, I just have the soundboard on, so it's just playing like rain and thunder and some bird noises. It's very relaxing. My life is just vibes. I definitely need to fix the side of the table with the cord on it, because it's wrong. I'm just nursing my hot chocolate at the moment, because it's making my throat feel better, and I'm thinking of heating it up. Ah! Good lord. Ah, the yawns. They make the Canadian come out in me. Oh. But yes, if anyone wants to do art, I highly recommend this exercise. Just find a still life, and you copy it by only selecting the color wheel. Oh, the snoot's been booped! It's the boop snoot, like the droop snoot, but boops. It's the boop, and the snoot, and the snoot that gets booped. The boop snoot. I don't know why I need to do that every time. It's the droop snoot video. It lives in my head rent-free. Concord was such a silly plane. And the droop snoot. I would have loved to have gone on the Concorde. I think it's retired now. Like, I don't think they fly them anymore because I think they're too dangerous. I have the sniffles. Yawning combined with drinking and being tired. Ah! Too noisy, too polluting. Most importantly, not profitable enough. Yeah, people were having issues with the noise at the Concorde because it would, like, break the sound barrier. And it was just crazy sonic booms over the city, and everybody was pissed off. They're like, what the fuck is that? Rabbit Snackers! Bloody Concord and its Droop Snoot. I think I saw a cat behind me somewhere. I saw something out of the corner of my eye. Angry kobold noises. Or murlocs. Did you know that the murloc noise from World of Warcraft was one of the game devs gargling yogurt? Yep. I learned that from Pirate Software. He was like, yeah, that sound was just my friend gargling yogurt. And I'm like, yep. I have this joke with my brother. And, I can't remember how it came about, but I think it's because he was eating yogurt at a friend's place, and he sort of like did this thing where he slurped the yogurt, and then he came home and told me about it because it was really funny, because he and his friends thought it was the funniest thing in the world. And he came home and told me about it. I'm like, I can make that noise without yogurt. There's a sound clip for you. So now this is a joke between my brother and I, and it's, can you make this noise without yogurt? And then I learned of the Murloc yogurt gurgling incident. And I feel validated. Can you make this noise without yogurt? Yes, I can! I don't know why this is so funny to me. I played WoW for all of, like, a day, and I got bored of it, so I haven't played WoW either, but the rest of my family does. Just like the rest of my family owns Apple products. I have words. They convinced me to get an Apple and it ruined my life. Regrets. Not a fan of the WoW art style. Like, it's okay. But I feel validated by the Night Elves when they have those eyebrows that, like, fly off the side of their head. I used to draw anime like that, and everyone's like, that's stupid. And I'm like, these are aliens. And they're like, well, it's still stupid. No one would ever design something like that. And then WoW came out, and I'm like, look at these Night Elves. This is a multi-million-dollar franchise. Actually, it's more like $1 billion franchise. Maybe multi-billion dollars. Don't they make like $30 million a day or something? It's probably way more than that. That number is like 20 years old. So, suck it to those bullies. My elves were before the Night Elves. So there. My alien space elves with eyebrows that went way off the side of the head. And they're like, no, they were the losers. I'm ahead of my time. It's like proto-VTuber-y. I'm not really getting a lot of painting done. I'm into chat mode again. I just like hanging out with you guys. That's all this is. The art is a ruse to lure you. Why do the anime elves and WoW elves have ears that are floppy and like a foot long? I don't know. I don't like that. This is as long as I like my elf ears that are on my character. The floppy elf ears are just like, But this is as long as I like my elf ears. I think they're cute when they stick out. They just do. They just do. It's so that they're more visible. It's cuter. I could put them back, but I keep them forward because it's cuter. It creates a better character silhouette. And I didn't make my model. But I would still probably have them stick out anyways, even if I made my model. I really want to update my model quite a lot. But Ruby made it for me in an afternoon, and I'm going to use the shit out of it before I replace it. I think I'm getting pretty good use out of it, and you guys like the way I flop around. This is the person you're friends with. I make strange noises on a regular basis. Hydrate. It does look good. It could look a lot better. Rumi really did make it in an afternoon. So it's a little bit scuffed. But she did a pretty good job. Like that the other side of the collar is missing, like the shirt collar. So I've only got one half of my trim on my collar. It's kind of weird. It is cute. And it will always be my first model. And I will always love it. It's kind of like Iron Mouse. Iron Mouse still loves her first model too, and she's like the world's most famous VTuber. But she's like, oh, sometimes I just want to go back to my original. Even if it was like super limited and kind of scuffed. But like, it's your roots. You don't forget that. I think that's special. I really like Iron Mouse. She's very sweet. I don't know how she streams for so long, but I guess like that is her only way of social interaction. I hope they find a cure for her one day, because that would be really, really nice. Did you hear that they cured sickle cell anemia in some guy? They actually cured his sickle cell anemia. It hasn't come back. So they did this thing where they took his stem cells from his blood, and they replicated them to grow healthy cells that were his, and then they put them back in him and then treated him with chemotherapy, and the chemotherapy killed off all the cells with the sickle cell anemia, and the healthy blood cells remained and duplicated and replaced all of the blood in his system, and he has not gotten sickle cell anemia back yet, which is really cool because it's actually like a hereditary genetic disease, but it's also a disease you can get from being bitten by mosquitoes, I think. But yeah, it was some African American kid recently. Very, very recently. I only learned of it from the news this last week, and I think that's really awesome. The things we can do with gene therapy. Like, they might be able to one day fix PCOS, or diabetes, cancer, aging. Aging is literally a disease. We shouldn't be dying of anything other than accidents and, murder and stuff. And hopefully we would stop that. Less people being murdered would be a good thing. But yes, aging is considered a disease because it's replication errors in your DNA, in your telomeres. It's a little dangly bits at the end of your DNA that unwind and break. They go together wrong. Yes, I want to stop aging. Ugh. I also want to, like, fix scarring, and, you know, you go deep enough into changing. Oh, no, 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 no. You'd still follow the rules. You can't be president more than twice. You would continue to have that rule. As a matter of fact, it would be more important than anything to adhere to it. And, like, people would still die. Like, you still die of diseases and accidents and murders and, you know, nature. Like floods, hurricanes, tornadoes. Like, people would still die. We just wouldn't die of old age, because aging would no longer be a thing. If you can repair damage to your telomeres, yes. But if you can repair damage to your telomeres, you can effectively cure aging. Because that's just replication errors, and if you can stop the replication errors, you can also stop cancer. Cancer and aging, they're basically one and the same, really. It's just one is uncontrolled duplication of an error, and it just goes batshit insane. But yeah, science. Overpopulated enough already? I mean, you could just choose not to have children. If you're ageless, you just don't breed. And if you die without having kids, well, too bad for you. You made the choice. Likewise, if you choose to have children, you can stop taking the cure to aging. Because I'm assuming that replication errors would still happen, we would just have to correct them. Yeah. And a lot of the people with that many children are often the lesser educated and the lesser well-off, and often religious. And I have a lot of issues with that. The scientists need to breed more. We need to outbreed the ones who have too many kids already, because they're just making the problem worse. There is, I will hazard to say this, but there are too many lifeguards and not enough chlorine in the gene pool. And I have felt that way since I was quite young. We can't be too... Exactly, like I said, too many lifeguards. Allow the Kinder Eggs in America. Give your children forks when they're next to the electrical sockets. Ah, I'm evil. There's a reason why we have the Darwin Awards. I like the idea of living forever, but I like my immortality packaged in a homegrown mystical meal instead of a sell all your organs lab-grown subscription format. Yeah. You get to a point where, like, I'm not sure where I'm going with this thought. It's amusing that my mom and my sister thought microbiologist would be a perfect occupation for me, the person who wants to wipe out the entire human species. What could possibly go wrong? Yeah. I don't want to wipe out the entirety of the human species, but, like, I don't know, we could do with, like, a 72 or 77% reduction in our population. And if I happen to be among those, then so be it. But I would like a population reduction where the smartest ones survive. You know, the smartest and the good people. Because you can be good, you can be smart, but you can be evil as shit. And I don't like that. I want the good people to survive. The ones who uplift one another and care for other people and are conscientious of the environment and the future and think ahead and not care about immediate wealth. Oh, like Lex Luthor. Yeah. The original actor for Lex Luthor passed away recently. It's a bit sad. But, like, that's life. Death is the great equalizer. At least for now. Until we figure out immortality, and then they will put a price tag on life. And then only the rich will be immortal, and the poor will have nothing, as usual. And then we will get mad, and it will be France all over again. What's wrong, Neff? 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 What's wrong? Wasn't much of a fan of Gene Hackman, but that sucks. Yeah. I couldn't remember his name. I'm way too tired for names. But yeah, it happens. I mean, we're gonna lose Patrick Stewart one day too, and that will be a very sad day. Peace be with you, Jean-Luc Picard. But, yeah, no. I'll be very sad when that happens. Yeah, I know, it's like when we lost Alan Rickman. I was very sad when that happened. When we lose Alan Rickman, Morgan Freeman, and Patrick Stewart, I will be a very, very sad panda. Because they are my favorite human beings. I mean, we've already lost Carl Sagan. We lost him way, way, way too early. He was only 76? He could still have been alive today. He would be like 100, but he'd be over 100. But we lost him way too early. Robin Williams, too, yeah. Well, that was very unfortunate. And Sean Connery. I like Sean Connery, too. But, you know, that's life. Hopefully it won't always be life, but also the cycling of human beings allows us to experience new things and new ideas, so immortality might be, like, the death knell of our species if we figure it out. I mean, that's always a concern. If you choose to live forever and not have any children, and then you have no new ideas, then you stagnate as a species. And when we see civilizations stagnate, they fall. So, like Rome, America, we're watching the fall of Rome in real time. It's kind of wild. It can be averted. I think y'all just need to go Julius Caesar on his ass. And you know who the he I am, of whom I speak. There's a few of them, in fact, that could use the Julius Caesar Mussolini treatments. But apparently we're not allowed to say those things. Yes. But then you have to look at the question of, are you any better if you do? The best way to take them down is by protesting. I watched a documentary recently, and it's something like between 3 and 4% of the population. If that many people protest, it stops dictators in their tracks, like proto-dictators or even existing dictators. This is how dictatorships fall, is if between 3 and 4% of the population just go out and protest. Yes, I am of the scale balance school of thought as well. But there are also people who humble me and make me realize that, no, we should not do that, because then it makes us just as bad, if not worse. Because we let go of what makes us human in order to try and save humanity. But there are other ways to do it without becoming the evil that we seek to destroy. And that is through the power of the people. Oh no, like even just not taking his place, just taking someone out because they're evil destroys part of your humanity as well. At least that is my belief. I think everybody is capable of great good and great evil equally. And how we maintain that is by not allowing ourselves to do the things. Yes. Very few people are okay with that. I am neutral towards it. But I do have the belief that we sort of damage ourselves as people if we allow ourselves to go that far. So, if given the opportunity, I would rather bring the people together instead of divide them. Because I think taking him out, quote unquote, or taking out like an evil leader, divides the people further by enraging that leader's supporters. Yeah, I know. I definitely would much prefer it to be quick, because then they don't have time to recover. Don't let them monologue. Don't give them the opportunity for the off-screen death. Because they always come back in a terrible sequel, as we are seeing right now. This is a strange conversation. But, yeah. I would prefer to not see the division between the people. Supporters of evil would raise the kill to sainthood. Yes. Yes. Exactly that. They become a martyr for the cause, and it divides the people further. What you've got to do is you've got to bring the people together to stand against him without violence. But you've got to show them that there are so many more of the people against him than there are for him. And the numbers have to be so outrageously huge, which is, in most people's eyes, about 4% of a population. And 4% of 300 million people is a lot. That's a lot of people. And that's a terrifying crowd. Like, if you watch the protests that are going on in Georgia right now, and in Turkey, they're crazy huge crowds. They are insane, and that is what I expect to see in America every day. But the streets are quiet. Streets are basically quiet in comparison. And you, I say you guys, but like the Americans should be out in huge, monumentally, historically, cosmically huge crowds. And that will stop Donald Trump in his tracks, because he will be terrified when he sees that many people. Lead by example. If we want democracy, we need to uphold it through democracy. Otherwise, we become what we act as. Exactly that. Exactly that. You become that which you detest and that which you seek to destroy. It's kind of like if you are the hero long enough, you become the villain, kind of thing. I'm not sure about democracy. Many can't be trusted to make optimal choice in a McDonald's line, let alone with the world. Yes, but so far, without interference from external pressures and propaganda, democracy has actually worked pretty well for every civilization that's done it so far. Republican democracy, maybe not so much. It doesn't tend to work very well. But Shab could probably talk more about this, because he's the political science guy. Like Bill Nye, the science guy. But more like Plato, the science guy, in the political science department. Shatner, the science guy. But yes, I think even in a McDonald's line, you'll find quite a bit of democracy. Personally, I'm all for eating a bit of poison hemlock if it means someone else gets due process. Yes. And there have to be people on the good side willing to go far enough to initiate that. So, like, we saw that in Luigi Mangione, where he pulled the trigger, but it woke up a lot of people, and now he's sort of a cultural icon to the disenfranchised, despite the fact that he is from a very privileged family and a very privileged life. He was willing to do the thing that brought forward a certain level of class consciousness, which is very lacking in the United States. Because one of the things about Americans is they have this idea that they are the greatest, and anything that is not America is not great. And that no matter how bad it gets, they're still better than everybody else. And that everything's always going to be America, America, America. And they're starting to realize that maybe they're not as great as they thought because they let it go too long. And what the rich in America have really been banking on is that the people stay ignorant of the injustices that are being done upon them so that they can continue to make money off of these people. And Luigi kicked the hornet's nest. And that's why we need more of our good green brother, because when peaceful protest and due process no longer work, which often happens in a proto-dictatorship or a complete dictatorship, sometimes the peaceful option is no longer an option. And, like, I hazard to say these things on Twitch because Bezos could ban me. Like, they could have an AI listening to everything that I say and then be like, oh, well, we don't like the thing that this person is talking about, and I could very easily lose my channel. So, I try to toe the line. And again, I don't condone violence. I did want to be a police officer. I think preventative policing is the optimal kind of policing, where you make sure the community is safe and happy, and you know the people in your community, and you speak with them, and you listen to both sides of the arguments, and accept that everybody has a different point of view, and that you can never fully understand the experience of another individual. And so you just have to do your best to understand and accommodate for that while still protecting them, whether you like them or agree with them or not. That's another problem that the United States has, is their police force is trained very, very viciously. Like, man, every time I hear stuff about policing the United States, whoo. And, like, I have a lot of sensitivity training, and that was still, like, almost 20 years ago. As a matter of fact, starting this fall, it would be 20 years since I started my Police Foundations program. Fortunately, many of the failures of the peaceful protests are due to lack of cohesion with like-minded representatives in power. For both grassroots and establishment activism to succeed, they need each other. Despite this, the Democratic Party's old guard has rebuffed their constituents over the last few election cycles. Yes. Like, you look what happened to Bernie Sanders versus Hillary Clinton. And I think we're only in the situation with Donald Trump because Hillary cheated. Police in Norway are much better. They care for the people and try to help them out. Yes. Norway and Canada have very similar policing systems where it's community-based preventative policing as opposed to active policing. So, or rather reactive policing, where a crime gets committed and then the police are on it. Instead, the police sort of get into the community. They get to know the people. They patrol regularly. They talk to the neighbors. You know, they have events, they participate in local parades and whatnot. And rather than just arresting people, you know, instead of arresting someone who's caught stealing cheese at the grocery store, they try to find out why they stole the cheese. And, you know, it's like, well, this lady has like 5 kids at home and she has no money. Because hubby ran off with all of the money and never came back, or, you know, deadbeat dad who never showed up, or the other way around, some guy I used to know, the mother ran off and she was a crazy bitch, you know, crazy baby mama. It works both ways, and like, you know, they struggle to raise their child alone, and instead of arresting that single parent for stealing cheese, you buy them some groceries instead and try and help them get back on their feet, and try and, you know, send them to a friend who might offer a higher paying job, you know, and that's what community is about. And I think we lose a lot of that, especially while the world is so connected, and, you know, like, I can talk to people from around the world instantaneously. We have this loss of community. I have seen my neighbors. I only know one of them. I'm slowly getting to know them, but I've been living here for 6 years, starting in May. And, like, hell if I know who most of them are. There's 12 units on my floor, and I only know my immediate neighbor. And that's not even the one that's closest to me. Her door is, like, all the way down the hallway. Let's see. At least that's my personal opinion. I don't know if studies to back that up. Yeah, no. I agree with you, Sham, and I think most people who really pay close attention to the politics would agree with you as well. The old guard of the Democratic Party has really failed, quite catastrophically, in fact. They don't want to let go of, like, traditional media, so they like shirk podcasts and TikTok and YouTube, and whereas the Republican Party took full advantage of that because they had all the tech bros on their side, and look what it did. It's wild. The policing environment sounds nice. I can't even see that happening as a monthly feel-good story in the US. Yeah. And while I do watch a lot of police cam videos, and I do see some absolutely stellar police officers in the United States, they are very far and few between. But you need to find those officers, and you need to get them to do all of the police training in the United States. And, of course, like, you guys need gun laws. Like, whoa. It's so funny because, you know, every country that has gun laws has very little gun violence. But, the United States just can't seem to see that. But, again, that's, like, the NRA, the lobbyists that are trying to, make more money by selling more guns. It's the rich people again, fucking shit up for everybody else. Put people in touch with community resources that they probably didn't know existed. Yes, the police often know a lot of those resources. The ones here. Absolutely. Like, even as a security guard, when I worked as a security guard, people would come up to me and ask me questions that I had no idea how to answer, just because I was someone in uniform. Because that's how trusted police and security are in Canada versus the United States. People just come up to you and ask you questions. I had people ask me where this one certain church was. they wanted a type of church. And being an anti-theist, I'm like, aren't they all the same? I felt a little bit stupid, and I didn't have a smartphone at the time, so I couldn't look anything up. But yeah. I lived here for 10 years and don't want to talk to any of the neighbors here. Yeah. I mean, most of my neighbors are really old people, but, like, they're slowly going extinct, quote-unquote. One of the things in my own city is infamous for is our Fatal 14 group of police officers who have tortured people for fun and bend their badges to count their kill. What the fuck? We were also some of the first to implement faulty and explicitly illegal facial recognition software. Jesus Christ. That's insane. That is absolutely wild, and quite often, you will see members of a police department standing up for each other in the U.S. Not so much in Canada. We have, like, crazy internal investigations units. They are hated, but at the same time, they make our services better because they make sure that the power-hungry people don't really have that kind of power. But also, we make sure our police do have limited powers. And our security guards, like, you have to take a license test for, and we have all of these rules that are very strictly enforced, even right down to, like, what kinds of things you can wear on your uniform. So, like, in Canada, you can't have security on the back of your t-shirt for, like, an event if you're not a licensed on-duty security guard. And in Ontario specifically, I know this, that, because I'm more familiar with Ontario's rules, that if somebody asks you for your security guard license while you're on duty, you must provide your license to them. So if you're ever in Ontario and you see a security guard, you can ask to see their security guard license while they're on duty. And if they don't provide it, you can actually call the police and have them charged. Because they're required by law to show their license, to prove that they are a security guard on duty. And that was a pretty recent thing. I think those laws came into effect in like I want to say like 2008 or 2009. I got my first security guard position in 2010. And I had to do the test then, I think. Yeah. But back when I was in police foundations and I was looking at security guard jobs, we didn't have to do that licensing stuff. So it's actually fairly new in Canada, or at least Ontario. I say fairly new, but like... It was like 15 years ago. My throat hurts. We went into like deep philosophical talk here. It's a good day, even if I am really tired. We've also been going for 2 hours, and I have a lot of cleaning I still have to do. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to save our art file, and we will pick this up again, probably tomorrow, and we'll finish it off then, because I would like to finish it with you guys. I mean, you've seen the basics of how it works, but I want you guys to see the rest of the process when I start getting a little finer stuff. Most of our officers were actually forced to resign from our local department, but our staffing shortage is so severe that they had to rejoin the force. Oof. The Fatal 14 is widely reported on, but they don't face any legal consequences because we're so short on officers. Those guys should be in jail. Yeah, they should be in jail. That's insane. They shouldn't be anywhere near policing or guns or law enforcement, security work, or they shouldn't even be in charge of kindergartners, okay? I wouldn't trust them with a flower bed, to be honest. They would kill the plants for fun. Those guys should be in jail. If I were in charge, they'd be in jail. Staffing shortage be damned. I will hire other people from like Canada. I'll take the Canadian police officers. Canadians are scary, man. And we actually follow the rules. But when we don't... But, like, we're not without our problems. There is no police force without its problems. There's, policing attracts a certain, breed of human beings that often like the power trip. They like having the power over other people. I don't trust the police here. Sadly, had an awful experience with 3 of them. Well, you need to find the ones that are not those 3, and maybe get to know them instead. Because it's important to know your local officers, especially if you're like in a small town. I'm in a big city, so there's no way I could get to know my officers, but like I live very near to the regional police department. Like it used to be across the street, but they moved up a block to a larger building that used to be a parking garage that they spent like 3 years renovating into an office building rather than tearing it down. I'm not sure which one would have been cheaper to do. But it looks pretty great. It looks very spacious. They still haven't hired me, but I did have an interview for 911 operator position. You know, they work 911 operators for 12-hour shifts. And they're like, you need to be alert. I'm like, I can't be alert for more than 4 hours. You expect me to do 12 in a high-stress situation? Hire more fucking people. Jesus Christ. I was on hold with 911 for 10 minutes once, and luckily it wasn't that much of an emergency. It was just like some crazy person down on the street corner, like having a bad trip. And it was like, you need to get someone out here, because I think they're breaking the windows of the church. And they're definitely having a bad trip, so I think they might need some help. Usually when I call the police, it's because somebody else needs help. And it's usually a drug addict having a wild trip, and they're just losing their minds. And I'm like, before they hurt themselves or step out into traffic, like somebody needs to get down there and get them the help they need. Don't arrest them. They just need help. And our police are pretty good at that. Small country town here. Yeah. Yeah, well, then you need to start making it feel like home. It's kind of like, you know, having a corrupt sheriff in the United States. Sheriffs are an elected position. If you're in a place where you can elect your sheriff, make sure you vote. If you've got a mayor in your town, which you probably do, and you're concerned about the police in your town, you need to talk to your mayor and say, hey, I don't trust the police anymore because of these bad experiences that I had, and I would like, as one of your constituents and one of your voters, I would like to see some training and police reform to fix this problem that I had in particular with your police force. Because I think that's really important for the safety and cohesion of the community. I worked a call center job for a union once, and it was soul draining after only a few days. Sometimes I would underestimate how many people truly need an education before that, but not after that job. Yeah. I think it was like George Carlin who said, like, think of the most average person you know, and then remember that 50% of all people are dumber than that. And that's pretty damning when I think about that, because I know a lot of extraordinarily dumb people. And I'm like, most of my friends, almost all of my friends, are well above average in the intellect department. But there are people that I know that I'm like, bitch, you as dumb as a pile of bricks. And I say that about myself, and I am like Einstein compared to you. Here's a freaking bleep. Her husband wants to tear down an outdoor skating rink to build apartments, and they want to demolish a retirement home for more apartments. Well, then the next time the mayoral election comes up, you should make sure you campaign against them and vote for someone else. Campaign with their opponent. Hydrate and Streech! That's the last of the hot chalky, which is now cold chalky. And we switch. Streech. There's a cat in my window, and he's watching me. He's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why are you making these noises? You're hissing. What did I do? Abort! Emergency! But yes, next time the mayoral elections come up, find their opponent, get to know their opponent, and campaign for them. And you go soon prepping for a D&D game of 6 and it's 5. Well, we are going to raid out because it's been 2 hours and 7 minutes, which is actually a surprisingly long time for my streams, despite the fact that I was very tired. But this conversation has been great. Thank you for having intellectual conversations with me, but I have a lot of cleaning I have to do, and I am dead tired. So I'm gonna go do my cleaning, and then I'm probably gonna take a nap, hopefully. I'll probably just end up sculpting more because I'm addicted to it. I've been up for almost 20 hours now, so I need to go too. Oh, bro, get some sleep. God, you're as bad as I am. That's about how long I've been up to. It was great tuning in. Yeah, thank you so much for coming. We are going to find someone to raid. It's probably going to be CNOT because he's the one that's like, yep, absolutely. We raid Moko tomorrow. So, slash raid, CNOT Bush. There, that. And I will see you guys next time. Thank you for coming. Thank you for having intellectual conversations with me. They give me power. They're like food for my soul. I think this was a good conversation. Even though it was a little bit touchy, there are some places that could get me banned. Well, let's try to avoid those ones. But I think it's important to talk about things. And yeah, speaking together is good for you. And brains. I'll see you guys next time. Remember, I have a schedule now. So, I'll see you guys. Bye-bye!